What's up, everybody? It's Levi from freesalesadvice.com. Thanks again for tuning in. And just got out of a call, and it was a no close. Wah, wah, wah. So anyways, no big deal. I took a gamble on this one. I was expecting it to pay off, which of course, any reason you take a gamble is because you expect to win versus lose. But I went to meet with this client, and she immediately said, look, I don't understand how anything works, and I've written down several questions from my husband. Well, that tells me right there that I'm not really talking to the decision maker, at least as when it comes to money, right? So I said, well, all right, well, no problem. I can answer those questions, but here's the problem with that. If I answer those questions to her, what she's going to do is she's going to go back and take secondhand information back to the spouse. And then he's going to ask her questions, and she's not going to know exactly how to answer those. And so then it becomes just this big mess, this back and forth that you know, it will probably never close. So what I did was I took the gamble and saying, hey, is your spouse available by phone? And she said, yeah, he is. So you want to put him on speaker? So we put him on speaker, and sure enough, got him on speaker, and he started hammering away with questions, which was great because I could answer all of those questions, and I know how to articulate that over the phone and explain everything in a clear, concise manner. Even the wife said, she goes, I understand everything. This is very, very clear. Well, here was the problem. Here was the gamble, is that I went in for the close because at the end I said, hey, so, sir, and I said his name, but I said, sir, what are you comfortable at starting your wife at on her contributions? And he said, oh, I've got to go. We'll talk about it tonight when you get home, honey. And then he hung up. And so that's the problem with on the phone, is if somebody hangs up, then there's not much you can come back from that. And I was really hoping that he would just make a decision, because we talked about so much. We actually had a really great phone call. I mean, we were on the phone maybe 10 to 15 minutes discussing every single angle of the retirement plan and how that would work. And he asked really, really good questions, and I was able to answer all of those. And normally in that scenario, I'm able to just easily transition into the close. But unfortunately, it backfired on me there a little bit, and he just said, all right, babe, we'll talk when we get home. What was funny is that because I asked him, I said, well, what would you like to start your wife at? And he goes, excuse me. And she was bought in at that point. So she said, yeah, honey, where do you want me to start my 403B at? And so she was all in, but then he pulled the trigger and he's like, oh, we'll talk about it when I get home. And then said, I got to go, and hung up. And so it is what it is. But after that, she started asking me additional questions, follow-up questions. Well, can you help out with other accounts? Do you do other things? And started kind of volunteering a lot more information, which are all good signs. So that tells me that, you know, and she said that my husband and I have been looking for somebody to talk to about financial advice, and we've got several things we're working on, and she really kind of gave a lot more information. So I know I've got a good follow-up client. She's in the pipeline now. And so it is what it is when it comes down to that. I know she's going to talk to her husband tonight, so I just asked her if I could follow up with her tomorrow or the next day. She said that would be fine, and I'm going to move on from there. And I'll get that. I will come back to that. And so that's what I got to do. But sometimes, you know, you got to go for the gamble. Sometimes it pays off. Sometimes it doesn't. Normally in those situations, I love more questions. So here's the main point, is that if you get a lot of questions, this is where it comes back to knowing your stuff. Know your role, as I would say, and understand everything, because you can answer those questions if you can answer them articulate or in an articulate manner and really convey the information, and also be enthusiastic about it, because a sale is made when there's a transfer of enthusiasm. That's what Brian Tracy would say. So, you know, that's something that you've got to keep in mind. That normally works out in your favor. So anyways, it is what it is. I think it'll come back around. We'll go from there and figure it out. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Like or subscribe. If you've got a question or you're stuck in a sales process with a client, leave us a comment. Leave it on the main page. Let this community answer it for you. That's what we're here for. So again, thanks for tuning in today. We'll see you next round. See you after the next call. Always be closing.